Hey everybody, Justin here, and before we begin whatever this is going to be, I do want to point out on a technical note that you will be hearing a slight hum in the background, and that is because I'm not exactly sure if you've noticed this, but it's hot as balls in this part of the world at this time of year. Perhaps you may have heard of summer. But anyway, if you hear the buzz or hum in the background, it's just because I have like 2 fans blowing at me, plus an air conditioner, plus an all-house fan, just trying to stay cool. And speaking of staying cool, that's part of the reason why I've gathered you all here today, and I will get to that part of things in just a few moments. But first, yes, it's been a little bit since we posted anything new. Not counting a Patreon clip show or a memorial to somebody. It's been, I want to say, 3 months now since we've last posted an episode, and I've been getting questions from some of you, and most frequently the question being asked is, are you going to come back? And the short answer to that question is yes, we will be coming back. The not-so-simple answer to that question is when exactly. And I want to point out before we go any further here that it's not anything big or dramatic or life-altering or life-threatening or anything like that. For those that were wondering the last time I did one of these updates, my health is actually much better this time around than it was the last time around. My blood pressure's right where it should be. My cholesterol's right where it should be. Everything that should be where it should be where it should be, without any lack of a better term. So, no, we didn't pause because of health reasons, nor did we pause because of financial reasons. I know some people have been asking about that because of something that we're going to be talking about in just a few moments, but I just want to rest assure you guys right now, money has nothing to do with it. As much as I'd love to break the budget on some episodes right now, I am still kind of practicing fiscal restraint, especially with other vehicular-related surprises that are still being paid off as of press time. But other than that, that's got nothing to do with the break or anything like that. And if you hear me burp, I'm recording this right after I've just had my dinner, so yay, the wonders of human biology. So, I'm not going to stall, and I'm not going to belabor the point too much. The reason why we're pausing right now is quite simply because of the sounds that you're hearing in the background. I can't really do a lot of concentrating when the weather is hot, and I know it seems like a bit of a cop-out. I know it seems like, oh, you could do this whenever you want to and all that stuff, and you're right to think that. Hell, I'm right to think that too, and this is my show and all that stuff, but it's always been this weird thing with me that when the weather gets either too hot or too humid, I can barely think. And when you barely think, you barely feel motivated to want to write scripts, and when you don't write scripts, you can't record scripts, and even so, there's going to be all these fans in the background that are going to be distorting everything, as you can clearly hear right now, if indeed you can hear it. I mean, I'm recording this on Audacity, as I always do, and I'm seeing it coming up very faintly. You may not hear this, and I may be completely exaggerating, but, you know, psychology is a very, very complicated thing. That's the reason why we're taking this pause right now, just because it's just too hot for me to think and to concentrate and to work. And there is another thing on top of this. I already mentioned the whole financial situation, and I mentioned that things are relatively okay. In fact, it's a little bit better than it's been for a little while, because at my actual non-telehell job, they're giving me more hours. More hours, of course, means more work, and more work means more money, but what it also means is it cuts into my free time a little bit. And since it's also the spring and summer, it's also that time of the year when I start cruising around looking for yard sales, looking for VHS recorded off of TV with commercials so that I can then send them to my sponsors. Hello, Dave's Archives. Hello, Retro Circ. Hello, Kier's Nostalgia Corner. Hello, Kev the Ripper. And let's just say, even though the summer's supposed to be the time to relax, there's a lot to get done in spite of the fact that it's hot as balls outside. So, for all those reasons and more, let's just lump everything into stuff that says pause, essentially. I mean, like, it's not like I haven't been busy with the show or anything like that. It's just, it's hard for me to concentrate when it gets too hot, but also I don't want whatever free time I have left to go to waste either, so it's just kind of a time balance flux kind of thing, I guess you could call it. You can call it bullshit. I just prefer to call it, I lead a pretty weird life, as you can clearly tell right now from what I'm just telling you. So, the long answer is that we will return with new episodes of Telehell. We will resume Season 7 on Labor Day weekend, and I believe if the calendar is correct, first Monday of September. Let me make sure I get the date right, because if it's the first Monday of September... Okay, that's actually a little sooner than I thought it would be. Okay, the week after Labor Day we're going to resume, and that's going to be on September 7th. And we will be back with new episodes. In fact, we still have 8 more shows to do in this season, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about those shows in a moment. But before we get to that, a little bit of housekeeping involving the other aspects of the show, including our Patreon. Anybody that's been following us on our Patreon at Telehell Podcast knows that we've been trying to do a little tweaking here and there in an effort to try and get more people to come on to our Patreon, because, again, in spite of the seemingly all over the map financial situation I find myself in, the stuff that we do for the show itself is still done through Patreon. I mean, my job is my job, and I pay bills like everybody else does, and that's one thing. But it's the Patreon that helps fund the show more than anything else. And during the late part of spring, I asked people that were on Patreon, is there anything that we can do to make this a little more interesting for you people? And some of you have given some responses, and, well, let's just say that there's been a consensus on what exactly it is that you wanted to see changed on our Patreon. And the biggest response is you want to see more tiers, more membership tiers on our Patreon, and that is exactly what we are doing right now. As a matter of fact, it's kind of been soft launched back in June. But this is the official announcement that these new tiers are now currently live. And what those new tiers are follows. First of all, we've pretty much gotten away with charging an extra 66 cents on the dollar for everything that we've been doing so far. It's either like $2.66 a month, $4.66 a month, $6.66, because, you know, we got to keep with the theme of the show and all that stuff. But then after a while, we kind of realized that that'd just be a little too confusing for some people, both in front of and behind the scenes. So the first big change that we made to our Patreon is that those 66 cents per tier is now a thing of the past. We rounded it down to the nearest dollar, so now the lowest tier will be $2 a month, or $4 a month, or $6, or what have you, but we're getting rid of the 66 cents, so even if it is just a small, tiny amount, that does add up over time, and we hope that that's beneficial for any newcomers that come to Patreon at Telehell Podcast. Now, let me tell you about the new tiers. We have brought back a tier that we had originally gotten rid of simply because nobody was clicking on it, but we also realized that in a time of financial restraint, it's kind of important to leave certain doors open if you wanted to support the show, but you didn't want to go overboard with perks and all that stuff. And so with that, we have brought back our original tier called Tip Jar of the Damned. And what this is just as basic as you can possibly get. It's just a $1 a month show of support. No rewards are part of this tier. It's just to say, hey, we love your show. We'll support you in what little way that we possibly can because, let's face it, it's tough financially right now. Not just for, no, I don't even want to include myself, but around the world it's tough financially. So if you want to support the show and you want to just do what you can, we're bringing back our Tip Jar of the Damned. So $1 a month, a little dollar will do you. That's the one thing that we brought back. Now it's time for something brand new, and that something brand new is going to be a new mini show exclusively for those who pledge $3 a month on this tier. Already we have a $2 a month tier that gets you access to our premium content shows. That would be stuff like the commercial reviews that we do, Phonorama, the TV trivia stuff, the earwormers stuff. That's already a part of premium content of the Damned. But for $1 extra, starting in August, I believe we're going to do it sometime in mid-August. As a matter of fact, we're going to record the first one as soon as I finish doing this here. We're going to be introducing a new sub-feature to Telehell. We've done 115 shows by this point, and something that a lot of people also ask is, do you really feel the way about the shows that you review that you do in the show, or is that all just an act? I hope to answer that question in a new mini show that we call, fittingly enough, But I Digress. And this is where I give you a little extra information about some of our favorite episodes. Like, for instance, any episode that involves a guest, I'd like to give you a little bit more information on that. Anything that involved the making of a show itself. Anything that involved why I chose to review a certain show. It's all going to be raw and uncut, unfiltered, uncensored, no echoes, no fires, just my own personal thoughts on the shows that I review, which I know sounds kind of, pretentious, I guess you could say, but I've always said that personal me and podcast me are two separate people. So this, I hope, will bring both of those personalities a little closer together in the sense that, now that you've heard the Telehell side of things, maybe now you can hear the real side of things as to my thoughts on shows like, say, Super Train, or the 1974 Wonder Woman TV movie, or Viva Laughlin, or if I'm really desperate, I will give you my true thoughts on The Ghost Rider. But I'm saving that for if and when I inevitably run out of gas. But anyway, But I Digress is a new mini show that's going to be premiering this August, and it is currently available to patrons at $3 a month. Now, obviously, we're putting this out in July, so there isn't going to be any of those shows just yet, but when we do premiere But I Digress in August, we're going to be treating you to 3 editions of the program, and then once we get into more of our monthly groove again, we will do 1 new But I Digress per month. We're just trying to pace ourselves here because 115 shows do eventually run out at some point. And if the demand for it grows, we may do it twice a month. Who knows? But again, that's our first new tier at $3 a month, access to our future mini show, But I Digress. And then we've added this other tier, which is sort of an offshoot of Media of the Damned. And for those who don't already know about everything that's been going on, it's been a little difficult to try and find content of a physical nature to send to our patrons who join us at that level. And ever since the whole calamity with my car wound up taking place last fall, we switched to a different thing altogether, in which all the items that are given to our patrons are done digitally. And I should point out, just on a biographical note, that I have all sorts of equipment that can digitize old media, so, anytime, I kind of need to have it just because whenever I come across a tape at a yard sale and screen it for commercials, I have to watch it on something, and it's all plugged into my computer. I have a VCR, a DVD, and a Blu-ray player, and it's all connected to a video card, and the card is connected into the computer, and that's how I'm able to see all that stuff. And that's also how I've been able to dub things for the past few months and have been able to keep costs down by not using the post office all the time. That being said, we would like to introduce an extension of Media of the Damned, and that is something that we call Tape Collection of the Damned. This is very personal to me, and when I say personal, I really mean it, because I would like to share with you my personal VHS tape collection from ever since I was a kid. I'm in my 40s now, and I know that physical media is struggling to survive a little bit, and that's why I always like to look into media preservation as a hobby within all the other hobbies that I have. But I've saved up a bunch of tapes from when I was, really young and able to remember what certain things were. We're talking stuff from, the 80s and 90s. But it's my personal collection. And when I say it's my tape collection, what I'm going to do is essentially stream a tape from beginning to end, completely and totally uncut. I want to keep this, family rated, so when I say uncensored, I don't mean I promise nothing explicit is going to happen unless I come across an HBO thing somewhere, but that's the extent of it. But basically what this is, I dub a tape beginning to end. It could run anywhere between 4 hours to 8 hours long, and it's going to have all the authentic pieces that you would expect from a videotape. So that would be stuff like scenes getting cut off here and there, but still resuming in progress. It could be partial shows in progress. You could see the weird lines that happen whenever a tape gets chewed. You could hear various oddities on some of these things. I am pretty much giving you the VHS experience with my collection. And it can all be yours, in addition to all the other perks that you have. Keeping in mind, every perk that you wind up leveling up to, that's going to be, that's essentially going to be, a part of all this. But $8 a month is what we're offering for Tape Collection of the Damned, and we've already sent out a preview edition to our existing patrons in hopes to lure them to other things. But again, just to show them how it works. But again, it's exactly what it sounds like. I dub a tape beginning to end, no cuts, no edits. It's all as is, as it was presented almost 40 years ago. But it's my collection. It's my collection of stuff from over the years that I've saved, and I want to share all that stuff with you. So again, Tape Collection of the Damned, Tape Collection of the Damned is our $8 a month tier, but I digress, which will start in August. That's our $3 a month tier. And Tip Jar of the Damned is back. If you just want to support the show and you don't want any perks of any kind, just, stop on by, say hi kind of stuff. That is $1 simple per month. That takes care of the Patreon stuff. Now let's talk a little bit about the future. And like I said, we're going to be resuming our season in September. We're going to be doing things on September 7th, tentatively. And I want to quickly point out that we did advertise what our next show was going to be in our previous episode of the Jerry Lewis Show. And the thing that we teased, and I guess I can say this now, was going to be a look at TV couples that ruined TV shows. Now, while that is very much still going to be a thing that's going to happen, It's not going to happen in September because I would much rather save this for the next time Valentine's Day rolls around in February. So it's not completely off the table. I'm just not going to be doing that when I get back. What I am going to be doing are the following shows, and I'm not 100% sure as to when exactly they're all going to be happening, but these are the 8 shows that I'm picking. Shouldn't say just shows, because there will be some TV movies in there as well. But these are the 8 shows that I'm going to be picking to end the season, starting on September 7th. And we begin with something that we teased all the way back in episode 25. That was our episode on McLean Stevenson's condo. And during that show, we mentioned that he did 4 sitcoms post-MASH that flopped big time. And thankfully, and I want to give a shout out to a guy named Chris Cooling from a podcast called Forgotten TV for notifying me about this a while back, but one of those shows has been found. And he did an episode about this, but I want to give it the telehell treatment now, because how often do you get a chance to make fun of a show where somebody gets to play a priest? You got to keep with the branding somehow. So with that in mind, we have 1978's In the Beginning as our return subject on September 7th. And McLean Stevenson plays a priest. It's a conservative priest versus a liberal priest, and you thought you had problems. Yada, yada, yada. The show that's going to happen after that, and by the way, we're still going to be on the seat of our pants, so to speak, when it comes to scheduling. Like, it's not going to be a strict 2-week thing unless it starts getting really cold in August very fast so I can write these damn things. We are going to be doing a show from 1990 that seemed to have had everything going for itself. And then they did probably the stupidest thing in the world and hit the reset button so hard that it practically broke in its second season. And we'll go a little further into what that was all about when we talk about 1990's Baby Talk. Another show that we teased very nonchalantly in a previous episode 4 years ago when talking about Baby Bob. Remember that episode? I sure don't. So that's going to be for September. And then in October, it's been a few years since we've done anything Halloween related, and for pretty good reason, too. Strider. So with that, I think it's time that we made up for lost time. So for the first time ever, we are going to be presenting to you Telehell-A-Vision, in which the entire month of October, is going to be a theme month based on horror-related elements. Now, this does not necessarily mean that the shows and also TV movies I'm going to review are going to be horror, but they may have elements of it. One of those things that I'm going to be reviewing is a 1980 TV movie adaptation of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. And I know what you're thinking, that story's an all-time classic. Why would you ever want to make fun of that? I'll give you 5 words. Jeff Goldblum as Ichabod Crane. Now, I don't mean any disrespect to Jeff Goldblum. I think he's a phenomenal human being. He's done great movies and TV shows in the past, but there are certain things about him that kind of get on my nerves, and they are on full display in this movie. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned also for a very short-lived sitcom from 1979 called Struck by Lightning. Basically, what if Young Frankenstein was a sitcom without any involvement whatsoever from Mel Brooks or anybody else of talent for that matter? But it's pretty much what if Frankenstein was a sitcom, like the original Universal Frankenstein was a sitcom, so to speak. But that's going to be the next one for Telehell-A-Vision. And the final thing that we'll be doing in October will be something that I've actually been wanting to do also for some time now, and partly because a few years ago we did an episode about an ill-fated reboot of The Munsters called Mockingbird Lane, and I think it's about time that we give some equal time to that other creepy, kooky family of long ago that actually happened to be the direct competitors to the Munsters back in the 60s, but have since become their own entity. And we are talking, of course, about The Addams Family, a 1998 TV movie with Tim Curry as Gomez, Daryl Hannah as Morticia, and the premise is it's an Addams Family reunion, but hilarity ensues once you find out the twist of what that reunion is. So we're looking forward to Telehell-A-Ween this October. And then finally in November, our last 3 shows of the season. Maybe this might cross a little into December because we started the season in January. And I think going forward, that maybe when we're going to start kicking off new seasons from this point forward, we'll be in the winter. Just a little housekeeping on my end. For our first November show, there was this documentary that I saw many years ago and enjoyed very much. It was called The Kid Stays in the Picture. It's about a movie producer named Robert Evans, legendary figure at Paramount Pictures, and a certain incident that happened to him in the 1980s, which then wound up causing him to do probably the single most star-studded drug PSA of all time. And while there have been like little individual snippets of it, the actual making of this public service announcement has surfaced. As I burp again. You know we play what we do. Anyway, this PSA from 1981 is simply called Get High on Yourself. And I am going to leave all the details for that right down to the imagination because this is one of those subjects that has to be heard to be believed. The next thing we're going to do after that one is another list show, and I did want to do another list this season. And it's funny because when you reach a certain age and you start looking back on life, you kind of wonder if certain things were ever good enough to begin with. And that goes for Saturday morning cartoons, and in particular, those moments in cartoons where the mood changes dramatically. I mean, we're talking like total 180 in attitude, and you'll know what I mean when we talk about the top 8 darkest moments in animated series. And I do want to point out, not just Saturday morning, prime time as well, because we do want to keep the playing field just a little bit open. So the top 8 darkest moments in animated series. And then finally, our season finale, which I believe will be sometime around Thanksgiving, if nothing else of note winds up happening. I'm hoping this is just how it goes. There has been a piece of lost media that has been sought after for many years. And thanks to one of our sponsors, it has been found. In fact, it's kind of the reason why I discovered his YouTube channel, and don't worry, I'm hoping to get more content to him someday soon. But it's because of his channel, and because he too is a hunter of lost media, just like I am with yard sales and videotapes and stuff. But it's because of him that I was able to see this with my own eyes. And I cannot think of a better way to end Season 7 of the show than by going after probably the most sought-after TV movie ever. It only aired, to my knowledge, it may have aired twice. It definitely aired once, but I think it may have been rerun once as well, and then gone off the face of existence for the longest time. It's been the subject of like internet think pieces and listicles and BuzzFeed articles and Cracked articles and other dusty corners of the internet where they're saying this is the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. I wish I could find it, though. It's been found. It's been found for well over a year, and for our Season 7 finale, we're going to be looking at 1985's Playing with Fire, starring Gary Coleman as a child pyromaniac. I'm only mentioning the premise right now. I have yet to see, the entire thing from beginning to end. I've seen snippets of it. This may be one of those cases where the jokes write themselves. I swear to God, this is going to be a fun one to go out on for Season 7. So, to recap, when we return on September 7th, at the very least, we know that for sure 1978's in the beginning. Show number 2 after that, Baby Talk from 1990. After that, Telehell-A-Vision begins with The Legend of Sleepy Hollow from 1980 with Jeff Goldblum, Struck by Lightning from 1979, Addams Family Reunion from 1998, and then in November, Get High on Yourself from 1981, the drug PSA to end all drug PSAs, followed by the top 8 darkest moments in animated series, and finally, Playing with Fire. That is how the season looks. I'm hoping no takebacks on that, and a reminder, the episode about TV couples that ruin TV shows will move to our next season in February, and yes, there will be a next season. And I know this because I've made a damn list of shows that I have yet to review, and we're going to get ourselves through it if it kills me. So, thank you very much for that, and again, I'm sorry for taking so long to get back to all this. It's just the heat, the humidity, working extra hours, and just coming to terms with the fact that I really need to organize myself a lot better than this. Don't forget to go to our Patreon. We got new Patreon tiers there. There's some pretty fun ones. Oh, wait, I almost forgot. One last thing before we go. We're almost at 500 subscribers on our YouTube channel. That's right, I'm still keeping count. And as we do, once every 100 subscribers or so, we're going to put up a special video thing. And we're right now at 470 subscribers as of this recording. And we're recording this on July 2nd. Happy birthday, America. Almost. Yeah, we're 30... Actually, no, we're 29. We're at 471 subscribers on YouTube now. And if we hit 500 anytime soon, we're going to unlock another edition of Telehell-A-Vision. And for the 500 subscriber edition, I've got something very special planned. In my years of collecting VHS tapes for not just my sponsors, but also for myself, and, you know, just, I too am a lost media hunter and just looking for things that are interesting. But in my travels, I've come across something that you don't really see much on TV anymore, especially if you watch channels like HBO or Showtime or Cinemax or what have you. Way back in the 70s and 80s, when those channels were in their infancy, they used to have short films acting as pre-show, I guess you could say, intermissions in between actual movies. And I have managed to find, over the years, about 24 of these short films. And we're going to be presenting you those in something that we're going to be calling the Telehell Short Film Show. But that is only if we hit 500 subscribers on our YouTube channel. If anybody listening on our YouTube channel hasn't already tuned out already from my incessant nattering. But that's what we're going to do the next time we hit our milestone. We're going to be doing a short film show. This is clocking in at about 2.5 hours already. We may split this into 2 parts. I don't know, but it's something very special that I think may be fun for a lot of us to watch. It's short films. What more can you expect? Anyway, on that note, we will return on September 7th. I need to find a better way to cool my head off, because I think all the talking I'm doing is kind of overheating me a little bit, even with 2 fans and an air conditioner. Have a very good summer. We will be back, we promise. Sometimes you just need to get a life. And by you, I mean myself. I need to get a life sometimes, and this is just one of those things. Love you all. Thank you very much. We'll see you in the fall.